Uh, Joining us to talk more about this is Veejay Nakra, the CEO of the Automotive Division at M&M. Thank you for being a part of Closing Trades Live. A lot to talk to you about. Auto PLI, a booster shot coming in when all of you are grappling with so many other problems, including the chip shortage ahead of the crucial festive season. But first up, let's just take your comments on the Auto PLI scheme. What does this mean for M&M?
Firstly, thank you so much for having me on the show. We actually welcome the PLI initiative taken by the government of India because it's very much in line with the vision of becoming Aatmanirbhar Bharat, something we've been talking about for a while. And I think what's very interesting is that just a little bit on the data for everyone's benefit, that if you look at the share of advanced automotive technology, it is currently about 3% in India. And that is, against 18% globally. So the scheme will actually act as a catalyst in scaling up future technology areas. And one can clearly see that the Department of Heavy Industries has taken a very clear direction to the future of the auto industry in the area of battery electric vehicles and hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. And if you look at the allocation against the 1.97 lakh crore of PLI, and if you look at the auto components, and if you also add the advanced chemistry cell, which is the battery, put together it's 13 plus 9, which is 22%, which is a very, very significant share of the incentive that the government is talking about. So all in all, I think we welcome it, and it's a shot in the arm for Aatmanirbhar Bharat for scaling up future technology in the automotive space.
Yes, of course, that's the entire vision, to be Aatmanirbhar. And, globally, what we're seeing when it comes to that chip shortage, it's only, testifying to the fact that countries also need to have their own supply chain solutions. But, Vijay, it's going to take time till we become Aatmanirbhar, and, it will take time, of course, for the PLI to take off, etc. Till then, how are you dealing with the chip shortage? It's unfortunately just ahead of the festive season as well.
Yeah, one thing that I think COVID is, the pandemic has taught all of us is to live in a very uncertain world. And as we've learned to deal with uncertainties, this is the new uncertainty norm that I would talk about. And clearly, it is the biggest challenge for the automobile industry. The good part is there is no shortage of demand. And whether I look at rural, we look at urban, whether we look at SUVs, whether we look at commercial vehicles, demand is robust and strong. And in fact, just for the viewers' benefit, last month, August, the SUV sales actually were higher than passenger cars. So one can clearly see that the demand is very, very strong. Also, the semiconductor shortage, in a sense, is also linked to COVID because, Malaysia has a very big IC industry, which is a component that feeds into completing the circuits for the semiconductors for the automobile industry. And these days, we know that semiconductors go into over 300 items in an automobile, looking at the level of technology. So Malaysia was impacted by COVID. Of course, no doubt they are strongly coming out of it. But, there is a pent-up back order that needs to be taken care and fulfilled as we go forward. So I think this is going to be an uncertainty that all of us are going to learn to live with, manage the short term while creating a long term, because this clearly is a challenge that the automobile industry is going to face for some time to come. And it's not something that we see getting resolved in the short term in the next couple of months. So it is uncertain times, and all of us are learning to come up with alternate ways of solving for them, be it in terms of looking at alternate sources, buying chips from the free market, looking at the revarianting of our brands and products in a manner to see what are ways of of looking at customers to look at those variants and products where the requirement of semiconductors is lower. So it's a host of strategies coming together to manage the change for the time being.
Yeah, it is. So just wanted to understand, Vijay, that how hopeful are you to be able to meet the festive demand given all the excitement around XUV 700?
It's 700. So yeah, we are very delighted to and humbled to see the response the 700 has. We are very excited, but yes, it will be a challenge that we are going to need to manage in the short term. As far as 700 is concerned, we had planned for a particular ramp up as we knew when we were going to unveil and then launch the product. So the supply chain for the production for 700 in that sense, we had de-risked from the entire supply chain strategy so that we are able to bring the product in time to market. So the current challenge of shortages of semiconductors is something we had factored into the launch strategy. So that's on stream, and we will be announcing the opening of the bookings very soon.
Okay, fair point. And when can we expect the launch for 700?
Like I said, we'll be announcing that very soon. We will be putting out an official communication on the date when we open bookings.
Okay, fair point. I was just trying to dig out some more from you. So tell me, how hopeful are you about demand actually coming back and coming back in a big way, or if at all, anywhere closer to the pre-COVID levels during this festive season?
So let me answer that in two parts, and I will answer that for the here and now, and I also want to leave the viewers with a perspective slightly if we look at a longer term horizon. So the good part is, although this time COVID wave 2, we all know the impact of that was far more deep rooted, including rural India, which as a part of COVID wave 1, the demand was, the impact to rural India was far lower. But the good news is, I think we've come out of wave 2 very quickly. All the economic data, especially rural, I mean, just for example, if you look at agricultural credit disbursement, if you look at tractor sales, it's the highest ever tractor sales between April to August this year. The mandi revenue is on track. We had a little bit of a hiccup as far as rainfalls is concerned, but I think we are back now. The Kharif area that has been sown is higher than the average. The long-term period average of rainfall is now back to almost 90% plus. So all these indicators clearly show that it's not just about a buoyant festive season. I think the buoyancy of demand will continue well after the festive season too. But I think what's also important that I want to share is the data, if you look at YTD this year versus last year, comes off on a low base. And if one was to extrapolate this data over the last 5 years or 10 years, I think what we need to keep in mind as an industry, the automotive industry has invested over 50,000 crores as a transition from BS4 to BS6. And if one looks at the current data of last year or this year on a low base compared to the past, just to give you an example, PV industry annual sales numbers are the lowest in the last 5 years. Commercial vehicle industry is the lowest in the last 10 years. And three-wheeler industry is the lowest in the last 18 years. So I think there is a lot of catch up to do. And while in the short term, the green shoots show good recovery and strong demand, let's not forget it comes on a low base, and there is a lot of catching up to do in the industry in terms of growth to recover the investments that are done. So I think this is an important perspective that I wanted to bring out.
Before Vijay, I let you go. I want to, you're heading the automotive business at M&M. Clearly, EV is the buzzword, right? So yesterday we saw a red Tesla at the road ministry that was going to be taken for a test drive by the officials of the ministry. Look at Bhavesh Agarwal's tweets when it comes to 600 crores being clocked in a matter of just a few hours for the new scooter. You brought up EV yourself. Anything that you want to share with us as far as M&M's plans on that front go?
Well, I think we've all said this earlier as M&M leadership that when one looks at EV, there are two parts to it. There is personal mobility and then there is last mile mobility. The economics to EVs is far higher in last mile mobility, both goods and passenger. And with our trio range of electric three-wheelers, we clearly are market leaders in the organized sector there. We clearly saw that as an opportunity and we decided to invest and make sure that we don't lose that opportunity. Having done that, we are very, very clear in terms of our strategy of EVs in the personal mobility space. We did talk about it a few months back, where we've talked about investing significant amount of our future investments onto EVs. All those investments and strategies are on track. And if anything, the new PLI initiative will further boost that and help us achieve those faster. So we are very excited about the road ahead.
And Vijay, we're running out of time. So, you brought up the fact that tractor sales had hit an all-time high in August. Is that kind of growth sustainable? Are we looking at double-digit growth going forward?
We don't normally give out how we see the future in terms of numbers or percentage, but clearly we believe that the strong demand continues as we go forward.
Right, no guidance over there, but you can make out August the highest ever sales. And if you put all of the statements together, demand buoyancy to continue, rural economy coming back faster, that growth could indeed be sustainable. Thank you so much for joining us live today on this edition of Closing Trades. It's a day where you've seen the Sensex mount 59,000, ITC make a comeback, and how. We'll pick up on all of that action and more after this break.